Hey, we're back.
Hey,
Kevin Kaufman, Fred Weaver. We're going to talk today about how to negotiate an offer as a listing agent. Like how to make sure that when you receive offers on your listing, they actually make it to the closing table. So, this is a
skill.
This is a skill, right? And there's a lot of thought that has to go into it. And so sometimes as a listing agent, we can feel like, well, all I can really do is call the other agent, ask them a couple questions, and then accept the offer, and we'll just see. Hopefully I get through the inspection period. But actually, there's a few specific techniques that you can use as a listing agent to ensure that more of your offers make it to closing than fall out.
Absolutely. It's no coincidence that there are certain agents that have a higher fallout percentage, whether they're on the buy side or the list side, right?
Right.
And there's some simple things that you got to look for. I know for me, when I'm reviewing offers as a listing agent, I'm scrutinizing who the lender is, right?
Yes.
That's one thing. And then I'm not only scrutinizing who it is, but at what point in the process are they at? Like, have they actually pulled credit? Do they have tax returns? Do they have pay stubs? Do they have bank statements? Mm-hmm. I'm looking at things like that. I'm looking at, is this an FHA loan, or is it a VA loan, or is it a conventional loan? Because there's going to be different requirements for the physical structure of that home, like with the shape that it's in.
Yeah, and going one step further, I'm not just going to review the lender. I'm actually going to get on the phone and make a phone call to the lender. I'm real interested to see, do they pick up the phone? Do they respond to my email? Because how they interact with me while their client is competing to try to get under contract on a home is very likely how they're going to react during the process.
Well, I would say it's the ceiling.
Yes.
So it's either going to be the way they behave during that process is either that good or less.
Correct. And I'm going to go one step further. I might actually find some really unique information out about the borrower or the buyer on the property. I might find out if this buyer or borrower has been approved with this person for a long time. I might find out if they've canceled another deal recently, or if this is the first house they're making an offer on. I might find out that this is a repeat client. I just might find out lots of great info. I also might call the lender and find out they work for like Bank of America or something and never receive a return phone call back from the loan officer, and that might be a really good sign that we need to encourage the listing agent to get them approved with a local lender. But that's a whole other story for another day, right? The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually pick up the phone and call the listing agent. I want to make sure that they're the buyer's agent, excuse me. Sorry, I want to make sure that with the buyer's agent I've built some rapport, and I want to find out what information or what kind of setup they've done with their buyer. And when I say setup, I mean, how have they prepared their buyer for what's ahead, right? Are they prepared the same way that I would consult with one of my clients when I'm a buyer's agent? Hey, we're going to do an inspection. This is going to happen. You're going to get this nasty 100-page report telling you your house is falling down from the home inspector. I'm exaggerating, of course, right? But my point is that I'm going to do these things with my buyer client. I'm going to make them basically aware of some stuff that's going to happen so they don't freak out, get scared, and then get out of the deal. Well, as a listing agent, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to do it through the buyer's agent. I'm going to call and ask them some questions and find out how they've coached their client to do things. How long have they been working with their client? Have they made offers on other homes? Now, the buyer's agent may or may not share all that info with me, but if I don't ask, I'll never know.
Pretty simple.
Right?
Pick up the phone, ask some questions, shut up and listen.
Yes.
And then that's doing your due diligence. And if you ask me, that's just behaving as the fiduciary that you signed up to be for your seller, for your client.
Right. And in closing, I would say this. Can we control how any one transaction is going to go? Nope. But can we potentially avoid some pitfalls by talking to the buyer's lender, by talking to the buyer's agent, by really giving some critical thinking to how have they presented their current offer? How might this transaction be going? Yes, yes, and yes, right? Was there any interaction between the seller and our client? Did they use a love letter? Did they use any of the techniques that we would use as a buyer's agent? That's probably going to give us a pretty good indication of how likely this transaction is to make it to the closing table and actually close the deal.
Fact.
All right, thanks for joining us. Hopefully that was valuable for you.
Talk to you later.